Hey, everybody. We are back for Relationships 101. I'm Pastor Sean Strickland here with my super cute husband, Pastor Elwin Strickland. And we are so excited to do Relationships 101. And you know what we need you to do? We need you to go off in the comments. We need you to love it. We need you to like it. We need you to do hearts, to do fire. We need you to tag somebody. We need you to hashtag live and tell us what you're watching from. Why? Because your engagement improves our analytics.
It matters.
It matters. Go ahead and tell your neighbor, say your engagement matters.
Your engagement matters.
Your engagement matters, right? Your engagement matters. And we cannot stress enough, whether we're talking about Sunday service or prayer or refresh with Pastor Ralph, or whether we're talking about Relationships 101, that over and over again, we get messages from people who say, we heard about you and something you taught changed our lives, but it was because someone shared it.
Mm-hmm.
So we need you to share. So let us know where you're watching from. And this is what I want to know as we're waiting on people to come in. How is the weather where you are? You just heard something interesting about the weather there. What'd you hear?
I read that they said that there is a cold front coming to the southeast and going to impact the northeast, and that it may be one of, if not the coldest fronts to ever come through in recorded history in the United States. Now, I don't know about you, but I felt some cold fronts before. But for them to say it's going to be that cold, and they would say it was in some parts of the Northeast, they already are getting snow, with record amounts of snow for this time of year, which means it could be a long, cold winter.
Well, you better find somebody to boo up with. Not just anybody, though. Not just anybody, right? The person that God has.
Don't just boo up with anybody, or you'll be having a loud breakup.
What's that thing called they say in the wintertime?
A hobosexual.
Don't pick up no hobosexuals, right? People who just need a warm place to lay their head. Don't let them do you like that.
They say it's cold in Florida too.
Yeah, Kanan said it was cold. I was talking to her,
like in the 40s.
She talked about how the
in
temperature
South Florida,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
So let us know where you're from. Let us know what the weather is like. And then listen, I know Pastor Sean said, but I'm gonna say it too. Go ahead and tag some of your friends and family, especially if you've been counseling them through some of their relationships and you've been trying to help them get on the right track. Tonight's gonna be a night that I really believe we're going to identify some areas in our lives where maybe we didn't even know what was happening. We knew it was something, but we didn't know what to call it. Tonight, we're going to put a name on it.
No, this is so good. I'm super excited about this. I love it. Crystal is practicing the gratitude thing. Instead of complaining about it being cold, she said, I am so happy and grateful. I have heat and clothes to wear.
I love that.
I love that. I am so happy and grateful. Listen, we want to get into tonight's teaching.
Yes.
Because it's a pretty hefty teaching. But I was thinking about this. We have been married for 31 years. Woo, woo.
31
whole years. And we have learned a lot of lessons. And it is our hope in having Relationships 101. This tonight is specifically about marriage. But whenever we're sharing, a large part of our goal is that we try to be who we wish we had.
We want to help them not get the bumps and bruises we got.
Absolutely. Because, you said it on Sunday that experience is not the best teacher. The Holy Spirit is. But if you will listen to the Holy Spirit and someone else's experiences, you can have days of heaven on the earth in your marriage.
Absolutely.
And it is the will of God for you to have days of heaven on the earth. But how do you have days of heaven on the earth if you're caught up in a silent breakup?
Yeah.
Now, before we get into the notes, you guys tell us in the comments how you would define a silent breakup.
Yeah.
And how would you say that?
And while you're doing that, also hit that share button. We have about 60 people on. I think there were over 200 people who said, yes, I'm coming to Relationships 101 when we sent the event out. So some of them may have just forgotten. Some of them may have not checked their email. I think something went out to remind them, but you help us remind them. Go ahead and tag your friend, tag your family. I think we're up to like maybe 65 of you now. So keep tagging, keep sharing while you are telling us what you think the silent breakup is. And I will tell you that it has a a second part to it, but we didn't put it in this flyer because we wanted this idea, the silent breakup, to really grab your attention.
Well, a couple people said it means to ghost somebody.
Means to ghost. Okay.
It means to ghost
could
somebody.
Ghost somebody. What
Someone else said emotionally checking out of the relationship. Right.
Okay.
Stephanie says a silent breakup is giving up on communication.
Giving up on communication. Wow.
So it's really interesting. Just going through the motions, not engaging with each other, taking care of life separately but together.
Ooh,
okay, I think
who said that?
It's a Reverend Shallon.
Yeah.
I always want to mess her name up.
She nailed that one.
Pastor Chambers is what I'm gonna call
Pastor Chambers nailed that one.
Yes, just going through the motions, not engaging with each other, taking care of life separately but together.
See, taking care of life separately but together.
Now, I want to say this. When you first talked about this whole concept of the silent breakup, right? And you were talking about how we had seasons of silent breakup. I was like, I ain't never had no silent breakup with you. And then you explained it, and you explained it like she explained it.
Yeah.
And one of my really big takeaways is that you can have a silent breakup without trying to.
Absolutely.
And you can have a silent breakup not even knowing that's what you have, because you just think you're doing life. And I think that was the big thing that I was like, oh my, because when you first said we had some silent breakups.
Well, you actually said you were like, I don't even know if I'm qualified to teach this with you because I ain't never had no silent breakup. And I was like, yes, you have, probably a couple of times with me. But then once I explained it, I think you kind of grabbed hold to what I was getting.
No, because I felt kind of tight in my chest. I was like, wait, what are you trying to say? Like you broke up with me and I didn't know it. And so I love that. Listen, so I think you really should call in couples that have young kids, couples that have teenagers, couples that have kids that have gone off to college, because I think one of the most powerful things that we did as we jump into this teaching is that year 15, we went to dinner. And on our 15th anniversary, we sat and we said, what does it take to make our marriage so amazing that when our kids are gone, we are going to have so much fun?
Because I don't know that couples always think about it in the beginning, but at some point, your kids are going to leave you.
At some point, your kids are going to leave you.
Let me say this. If life does what it's supposed to, and they live correctly and do the things they're supposed to do, they're not supposed to be in your basement for the rest of their life. Right. They are supposed to grow up and they are supposed to leave you. And I'm not so sure that people prepare for life after kids.
But even if you lived in the kind of community, if you lived in a compound or you lived in a generational family where the parents live there and the kids live there, right? You still would want the intimacy in a relationship that is. I think that people get married for that, but I think that people don't always know how to maintain it.
Because
right?
Great marriages don't just happen. They require skill. And skill has to be taught.
Oh, that's really good.
Great marriages don't just happen. They require skill, and skill has to be taught. Shameless plug. That's why you should join marriage school. We'll talk a little bit about that later.
All right. So let's set us up.
Yeah. So here we are. Keep tagging, keep sharing. You almost got us at 80 people. Keep tagging and sharing. But listen, tonight, right, over the next hour, what we want to do is we want to take some time to really identify and expose the subtle signs of the emotional drift, what we call the silent breakup. Because this silent breakup is not a breakup that says, hey, I don't want you anymore. It's really an emotional drift that happens. And what's going to happen is you're going to learn. We're going to talk about how couples slowly become roommates instead of partners. We're going to talk about how through most couples don't experience one big moment that just causes them to break up. But what happens is there's this silent breakup that transposes through a series of unnoticed connections over time. Unnoticed disconnections over time. They're not connected anymore. And so by the end of this session, we are hoping and believing that you will be equipped with some practical tools and some intentional strategies so that you can stop the drift, that you can rebuild some emotional intimacy, and so that you can create a relationship where connection doesn't just happen by accident, but that it actually happens on purpose.
That's really good. So as we begin, let me ask you a question, and you don't have to answer it out loud, but I want you to think about this. Have you ever looked at your partner and felt like you were just living with a roommate instead of a spouse? You're talking about pickup schedules, you're paying the bills, you're making sure that everybody fed the cat, the dog, the parrot, whatever, but really you're wondering, do we still share the same heart? I want you to honestly take a second and answer these questions, at least to yourself. Have you ever felt emotionally alone in your relationship, even when the other person was physically right beside you? When was the last time that you truly felt seen, heard, or understood by your partner and not just responded to? Selah.
Yeah. So what's the first question you want them to look at?
Have you ever felt emotionally alone in your relationship, even when the other person was physically beside you? And when was the last time that you truly felt seen, heard, or understood by your partner and not just responded to, right? Not just I hear you, but I get you, right? Because it's possible to be married and to still feel invisible, right? Yeah. Emotional distance doesn't just show up all at once. And it's usually not one big fight or dramatic moment. It's usually caused by a series of small moments repeated over and over, little dismissals, little withdrawals, little of assumptions, until you realize we're disconnected and we don't even know how it happened.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing we want to do is let's define something. The reason we want to define this next section is so that we're all working from the same concept. So let's talk about something called emotional divorce. Okay. What is emotional divorce? First of all, please understand that emotional divorce doesn't start with papers. It doesn't start with someone filing something. It doesn't start with a lawyer. It doesn't even start with separation. Emotional divorce starts when people stop relating to each other, when they stop sharing their hearts, and when they stop being curious about the other person and what is important to the other person.
That's good.
What is happening in the other person's life, what is going on in the other person's mind, how are they feeling? That is where emotional divorce starts. It starts when we stop pursuing connection, when we just start doing life, but there is no longer a connection that we had at the altar. And let's just be honest. When people get married, there is a big connection. Most people, I don't care if they run off to Vegas and get married in the little white chapel, or they spend thousands of dollars and they get married, or they get married in their backyard with their closest of friends. They are getting married because they feel a real sense of connection. Mm-hmm. That's why people do it. So what happens is the emotional divorce starts because at some point down the line, because of life, because of everything that life entails, people stop relating to one another. They stop being curious about the other person. They stop being thoughtful about what the other person is feeling or going through. Their hearts kind of don't sync and beat at the same time anymore. They're no longer curious, and they don't pursue their connections. They don't do the things they used to do that kept them connected. And so here's an eye-opening reality that I think we should all think about. And you need to think about this, especially those of you who aren't married, who may be on here tonight, because I know when I first got married, I can be honest, I did not know that marriage would be hard.
Yeah,
I didn't know marriage would be hard. I thought if you love somebody and you got married, everything was going to be hunky-dory and it was going to be fun and you're going to get to have free legal sex all the time.
Pretty much.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought marriage was going to be about. I didn't know it was going to be about having to die to yourself. I didn't know it was going to have to be about making compromise. I didn't know it was going to have to be about thinking about somebody else's needs over your own. I didn't know it was going to have to be work. I didn't know it was going to have to be learning how to be quiet and not say everything that you wanted to say. All of these things, right?
Right.
And so because you fighting those things, the emotional divorce can creep in. So here's a reality you got to remember. You can still be in the same house. You can even still share the same bed. You can run errands together. You can go to the soccer field and cheer for your kids together. And you can still do all of that, but still be miles and miles apart emotionally. And that is what happens. People say, well, I can't believe they were married for 10 years or 15 years, or we're both 53. And for whatever reason, a lot of people in our age group got married in their early 20s. It's just people are getting married later now, but people got married in their early 20s. Well, we've seen a lot of people we know who have stayed married in like almost immediately when that last kid graduated high school or went off to college or whatever the case may be, they got divorced. We've seen it in our neighborhood. We've seen it in our community. Why? Because they were together, but they weren't connected.
No, listen, this is so important, right? So we want to talk to you about some signs of emotional drift, and we want you to identify them. But one of the things that I think is really important is that how accidental this can be.
That's the whole point.
It's accidental.
Yes.
So it's very different than people who are fighting all the time. They know they want to break up,
yes,
right?
Yes.
But when you're doing all the things, right? And you have, because your heart isn't connected, now the person has become like a roommate or like your buddy or whatever, right? And then people literally feel like they woke up one day and they didn't know the person and they didn't love the person, but you didn't wake up one day and do that. It was decision.
It was a silent drift.
Yes, silent drift. So we want to talk about this. So what's one way that you knew? Oh no, I meant to ask this question. If you two thought that love was enough, that all you had to do was love the person and you were going to live happily ever after, could you put a 3 in the comments? Because
all the foolish people put a 3.
All the foolish people who just thought, we love each other, and you thought, hey, if other people broke up, it's because they didn't really love each other. Because if they loved each other, they would have made it. Is there anybody else besides 22-year-old Edwin and Sean who thought that love was enough? Because we certainly did, right? Because I would love to hear that interaction. I would love to see all of the people in here who are like, oh my God, we thought it was. And you're so in love that when people try to tell you, you like, child, you don't know, baby.
That's
your love ain't like your
relationship. Our relationship run deep.
Our love is deep, right? Only to find out that your love could also have a silent drift, right?
Yes.
So number one, we want you to look at these things and judge your relationships, right? Judge them not to destroy them, but judge them to restore them.
Because you may not even be aware that they're happening.
Yes.
Right.
All right. So number one, conversations become transactional. What does it mean when conversations are transactional? Instead of connecting, we're coordinating, right? We're talking all the time, but we want to know who's picking up the kids. We want to know, did you pay that bill? What time is your meeting? And what's for dinner? That's really it's really just transaction. Our entire dialogue becomes logistics, not life. Wow.
Becomes logistics and not life. And those things are necessary, right? Early in our relationship, well, not really too early, but in our relationship, I traveled a lot. And so there were things that had to get coordinated. And it was like when I came home on the weekends, although, those were times we were supposed to be connecting, there were times I was feeling guilty because you had done all the work all the week. So I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Blah, 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 and all this stuff. And you can get in the habit of doing that because somebody does need to pick the kids up. Somebody does need to pay the bills, right? Somebody does need to understand what time is your meeting, what time is my meeting, especially when we live in a society now where it almost takes many times both parents working outside of the home in order for them to make the money they need to live the life that they need, right? It's not like that. And I'm trying to be funny, but it's not like the 1950s where one person went to work, typically the man, and the woman stayed at home. And even though that was a lot of work, she had time to kind of do different things. Nowadays, all those same thing has to be done, but most women are out in the workforce. And so I love that. Conversations become transactional. They have to make sure that they're spending time saying, hey, How was your day?
How was your day?
How are you feeling? Well, talking about one of the things I love that you even did today a little bit when we went to lunch. You was like, okay, but what's your dream? Asking me about what my dream is for something, not just what do you have to do tonight for Relationships 101 and what do you got to do on Wednesday and Thursday. It was really about me for a moment. And those are those things that people have to be aware to do.
Because I care about your
Because you care about my dreams. Because our relationship is not just transactional. Right.
Yes.
All right. Number 2, because these are signs of emotional drift. If you go, oh my God, that's me, then you're recognizing some of the signs. Here's number 2. You're starting to see less eye contact and more scrolling. Now, listen, I know that people use their phones all the time. I get it. I use my phone a lot. My wife uses her phone a lot. But is that all you ever do? Are you in the same room, but almost every time you're together, you're on your phones? Do you get more of your attention? Does your phone get more of your attention than your partner's face? Like, do you ever spend time where you actually put the phones down and communicate and talk to one another? Or is it always transactional conversation done through phones and scrolling and things in front of your face? And I know, look, I'm 53. I didn't grow up with a phone in my hand, although I've had a phone in my hand since I was in my 20s. So I've had a phone more time than I didn't have a phone.
That's a good point.
And so it's important to understand that while, yes, everybody uses their phones and different things, who's more important? Is it more important in what's going on that phone and behind that screen than the person you're doing life with? Your spouse should never feel in competition to your phone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This is so important because especially if you're doing number 2, it's going to lead to number 3, where you feel unseen or unchosen. You don't feel picked anymore. You don't feel prioritized. You start wondering, if I stop showing up this way, would they even notice? Right? Am I so busy on my phone that I don't even notice that you left the house?
Wow.
Or I don't even notice that you've tried to start 4 conversations with me, but I was over here laughing on something at TikTok, right? Do you feel unseen or do you feel unchosen? And I want to just say this, guys, that one of the things you could do if you do this, if you feel these things, don't just launch into your partner.
Right.
Ask your partner, do you feel seen?
Yeah.
Do you feel chosen? Not, I just got off Relationships 101 and I don't feel seen or chosen by you, because that is not going to work. And it doesn't go with any other things that we've taught before. Okay. So do not do that. Keep on sharing. Right. So listen, we don't want to feel unseen and unchosen, and we don't want our partner to feel unseen and unchosen.
Because if you start to feel unseen and if you start to feel unchosen, it can lead to number 4, which is that you end up functioning or feeling like roommates or teammates in task and not partners at the heart. Because one of the things that I think that I appreciate that we learn to do, because we both do a lot on social media for the church, for your business, for our own personal things we have to do, whatever the case may be. But one of the things that I noticed, and I do notice it, is that if I say, hey, babe, look at this, and I bring it to you, no matter what you're doing, you'll stop. If you say, hey, let me show you something. If you want to show me something, even if I'm watching in the middle of a thing, I push the pause button. Why? Because I want you to know that although I was doing something, what I was doing was not more important than you. And I think that's one of the things that people can, if your partner is saying, hey, let me show you something, you go, oh, and you start, oh my God, you always want to show me something. It's like you make them feel like what you're doing on the screen is more important than they are.
And I think it's a very interesting thing, because if I'm like, oh, you always want to show me something, but I'm scrolling 15 things, then that's the reason that a person feels unseen, right? And one of the things that I actually do that you tell me I don't have to do is that if you show me a video, even if I've seen it, I watch the entire video because to me, it's not about the video. It's about that you wanted me to see it. Right.
I have to work on that, because typically when you show me something, I go, oh yeah, I'm so excited. I'm like, oh yeah, especially for something funny. I go, oh yeah, I saw that. And so I try not to do that, because it's not that I don't want to see it again. My excitement about laughing takes away from that. So I've learned that from you. So I'm working on that. So
Okay.
again, number 4, you don't want to just function as teammates in task, right? You want to be partners at heart. You start like you get things done, right? It's like we're knocking these tasks off. We're getting the bills paid. We got our Google schedule done. We know who's taking who to where, and we're getting our chores done. But you don't really do life together. I believe Pastor Chambers said it earlier. You get life done separately, is what she said, but not together.
Well, it's like you can be efficient, but not emotionally connected.
Yeah.
You're efficient, right? Because I know that you're going to do this, and you know that I'm going to do this, and all of these different things, but there is no emotional
But you
connection.
can do that with a coworker.
You can do that with a
and
coworker.
You don't want to just be co-workers. You want to be co-laborers. You want to be lovers. You want to be partners together in this thing called marriage. And the reason we're talking about this is because what we see a lot of times, we see people who either wig out and like they act a total fool, and we're trying to counsel them, or they love each other. And we can tell when we talk to them, they really love each other, but they are so disconnected. They're not connected anymore. And typically what we see in those things are these things we're talking about right here, especially like number 5.
Number 5, no more dreaming together.
They don't dream together.
You used to talk about your goals and your plans, what you wanted to build, but now you're just trying to get through the week. And one of the, I'm a big dream girl, right? And one of the things that I know is that dreaming gives you hope.
Yes.
So in a tough season or in a transition season, we really want to talk about our dreams. I remember when our kids were young, and we would say, when they are gone, we're going to do this, 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 and this, and this.
We were 30 years old talking about what we were going to do when we were 53.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then in our 40s, we were saying things like, listen, you better not die because we got big plans, right? So what? And then
don't leave me here with all 5 of these kids.
But think about how that changed how we took care of our bodies too, because we were like, hold on. When we started watching people in their late 40s and 50s die of heart attacks and strokes, we was like, wait a minute, it's not just enough for us to have these plans. Our dream means we need to walk. And the first thing we started doing was walking before we did anything else.
And I think it's important that when people understand that there are some things that we do together.
Yes.
There are some things that we do together because that togetherness keeps us connected. It's a form of intimacy, because intimacy just isn't just sex.
Right.
When we walk together, that's a form of intimacy.
Right.
When we're just laughing with each other and poking at each other, that's intimacy. But you don't necessarily enjoy bowling. You'll go, but it's not the thing you like to do. I would bowl multiple times a week if I could, but you have never tried to stop me from bowling. Right. There are things you like to do. You like to ride and look at places that you like. You'll just go down roads you say, because I've never been down there.
Right.
I don't want to go down a road I haven't been down if there's not a purpose. Right.
The purpose is to find out what's down there.
But I've never stopped you.
That's right.
From driving down strange roads that you've never been down.
No,
I just say to you, make sure Life 360 is turned on.
But what I love is that when I go down the road, because Kanan loves that too. We'll both ride. Yep. If we go down the road and you look, you'll be like, hey, you all right out there?
Right.
Like I've never seen that road before.
Life 360 on, and I can see where you are. So my point is that I want couples to know you don't have to do everything together, but you have to find some things you can do together, because the some things that you do together is a part of that intimacy. It's part of that connection. It's part of that thing where you can dream together, you can talk together, where you share some common thing besides your kids.
I was going to say, and besides your grandkids, and pastors, beside the church, beside the church. Like you got to learn how to spend time together. In fact, one of the rules that we implemented when we were trying to really reconnect when our kids were doing so much stuff is that we would be like, we're going to go to dinner or dessert or whatever. And for the first 15 minutes, you can say anything you want to, but you cannot talk to me about the church. You cannot talk to me about our kids or a problem that anybody has. And that really forced us to get to know each other again.
And the joy of that was like, okay, now you ain't got to tell me next time. I don't want to talk about the church. I don't want to talk about the kids. I don't want to talk about no problems. I want to have that joy that we had that I didn't even realize we were missing, right? Yes. And I think that's what happens sometimes. People don't realize they're missing it. because they're just so busy doing life. And what that does is it creates this distance. And here's what you have to understand: distance doesn't always start with a disagreement.
Right.
Distance doesn't always start with the disagreement. Sometimes distance starts because of silence. It starts because I don't want to say something, because I don't feel chosen, or I don't want to say something because you're on your phone, or I don't want to say something because I don't want us to get into an argument. I'm not going to speak up. I'm not going to address the small hurts that are happening in the relationship. I'm not going to say what I need, because last time I said what I needed, you said and then got back on your phone, or you said and called your best friend. All of those things create distance. Distance doesn't always happen because of some big blow up like infidelity.
Right. That's really, really good. Now, we've given you some things so far, right? What we want to check in with you now as you're sharing this with other people is, what are some of your takeaways? Have you learned, we need to be aware of this, or we need to institute a date night, or we need to take 10 minutes a day and make sure we're still connecting? What have you taken away so far? Because we didn't just put these notes together. Well, he put them together. He didn't just put these notes together so that we could regurgitate them to you. It's that we really want you to look at your relationship and say, what are some of my takeaways? What can I do right now? If we stop teaching right now, what could we do that we could apply to improve our relationships? Right.
So let us know in the comments what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're hearing. This thing about silence is so important, because silence actually builds walls just as fast as conflict does. People think that conflict is what builds the walls, but so will silence. So will not saying what you need in the relationship. So is, not saying, hey, I need you to pay me more attention. I remember, people come to relationships the way they are. For you, words of affirmation, gifts, and touch are major things for you. Acts of service is okay, but it's not the grandest of things for you. For me, acts of service is really high, whereas words of affirmation is pretty low for me. And so when you have two people who receive love so differently, that can cause some conflict. And if you don't work through that conflict, it'll start silence, right? Because, for instance, you'll be like, well, Strick never affirms me. He never gives me words of affirmation. And so you're like, well, I'm going to stop asking for it. Well, if you stop asking for it, then your needs aren't met. Well, because words of affirmation aren't big for me, if I'm not cognizant of the fact that they're big for you, it's not natural for me. And so I don't do it. So then I just fill in to that self-fulfilling prophecy of, well, he doesn't care because he doesn't give me words of affirmation. And it becomes this cycle. And that's what so many couples go through. And it creates over time this distance, this thing we call the silent breakup. Couples stay together, but they're not connected.
Well, and I think the frustrating thing is that if we don't know that we receive love differently, some of the silence isn't always a fight. Sometimes the silence is, I tried to give you the best that I had and you didn't want it, right? Like I tried to give you words of affirmation and you was like, well, if you really wanted to help me, you could took them clothes to the cleaners, right?
Because you giving me words of affirmation can be you can get the best words of affirmation you ever could imagine. But that's never going to be the same weight as I come home and you go, hey, I folded these clothes for you. I'm like, oh my God, you folded all the white clothes? Come here, girl. But telling me how amazing and awesome I am, I'm like, girl, I know that. So it's important that people understand that. Okay, so what they saying? I can't see all of that.
I don't even know. Let's see. We can immediately discuss relationships 101 with no distractions. That's good. Date night and learn to have conversations that aren't transactional. That's a really good. Yeah. Everybody could implement that. And listen,
non-transactional conversation.
And I want to say this. I don't care what stage of life that you're in. You can have a date night. It just may not be a full date night.
Yeah.
I can remember when our kids were little and our date night was that we ate ice cream in our car in the driveway and nobody could come outside.
Yeah. We're like, we knew it wouldn't be no fire flood of blood, hopefully, while we was sitting right there. But it was like, you can't come outside and talk to us. We're going to be here, but you cannot come outside and talk to us.
You cannot come outside and talk to us, right?
Yep.
And so it's very interesting. The Song of Solomon 2:15, it says, this scripture is so good. It says, catch the foxes for us. The little foxes are ruining the vineyards.
Yep.
what's that? The NASB translation, right? So when the Bible talks about the little foxes, it's talking about the small things that sneak in and destroy something beautiful from the inside out, not overnight, but slowly.
Yes.
And how many of us, if we're not careful, we have these small foxes, right?
Yep.
And sometimes when we talk to couples and they're at the divorce fight, the divorce part, we're like, man, everything they want to break up with over is so small, but those small foxes have just eaten away at the vines of love in their heart. And so we really, really want to deal with the small foxes. And what I think one of the things we want to be careful about doing is that we want to be careful of minimizing what we need and saying, well, it's not that big a deal that we don't connect because we don't fight each other, right? We have, and sometimes if we're comparing with other people, we cannot deal with what we need because we go, at least it's not as bad as so-and-so.
Yeah.
But it not being as bad as so-and-so's relationship doesn't mean we're in a good place.
It's like saying, well, I didn't trip over the shovel, but I tripped over the broom. The fact is you tripped. The fact is you failed. So whether you break up because of politeness, or you break up because of niceness, or you break up because you went nuclear on each other, the end result is that you're not together. And so it's important to understand. I love what you said about the foxes, because we typically quote that by saying it's the small foxes that destroy the vines. But it's right. It's like, catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that are ruining the vineyards. We got to learn that marriages don't typically fall apart because of the big things first. That's just not typically what happens.
That's good.
They fall apart because of the ignored things. That's why they fall apart, because of the things we ignored, not just because of the big things, not just because of financial infidelity or sexual infidelity, or somebody decides they want to be Buddhist and somebody says, oh, I can't be with you no more because we got married, we were Christian. I mean, those are big things, but most relationships, you just said it earlier, most relationships don't fall apart over the big things. They fall apart over the things that get ignored.
So things like unspoken resentment,
Yep,
the brushed off feelings, and the conversations we avoid.
Oh, those three are good. Say those again.
The unspoken resentment.
Unspoken resentment.
Because I won't say to you how important it is for you to tell me I look cute in my dress. And so then I go out and everybody else tells me I look cute in my dress. And now I feel some kind of way because you don't ever tell me that I look cute in my dress. And I have unspoken resentment that you don't even know that I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. Unspoken resentment.
The brushed off feelings. You told me that acts of service and folding the clothes would matter. And I went, I didn't get time for it.
You just keep telling me how great I am. It's like, I don't know how to hear that. I want you to fold them clothes.
Right.
Brushed off feelings.
And the conversations we avoid.
Or brushed off feelings. You told me how important it is to tell you that you're cute when you get dressed up. I think it, but then I don't say it. Well, I don't say it because I'm not being mindful of what's important to you. And so then now it feels like I just brushed off how you feel. So that, I mean, all kinds of examples of brushed off feelings.
No, absolutely. And a lot of people are sitting here. You can love.
Is this making sense to anybody tonight? Yeah. I hope so.
I hope it's making sense to you, because most relationships are not breaking up because people are bad or even bad for each other. They are breaking up because there are these little foxes. There are these little foxes. And the truth of it is that when we have a million things going on, we've got to prioritize knowing what's important to the other person. Because when you got babies crying and your mama's got a hospital issue and there's a crisis at work, right? It can very easily be that in the grand scheme of things, Sean, you already know you look cute. You don't need me to tell you that. And sometimes that's what we do, that when something the other person wants is important to them, but it seems silly to us, insignificant, we put it at the bottom of the list. And we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to have a bunch of small ignored issues that become big emotional distance. Why? Because small issues that become big emotional distance, the tiny cracks become fractures, Little disconnects become disconnection.
Yep.
But this is good news. If emotional drifts happen in moments, then reconnection can happen in small moments too. So if you can drift apart in a small moment, you can reconnect in small moments. You just have to be intentional. Natalia asked a very good question. She said, do you offer private sessions for married couples? Pastor Strick does private sessions for couples. And if you need therapy, our go-to 100% therapist is Tenetria Williams, who is on Facebook. She is our children's church pastor. She is the best therapist that I know. And Nitra, say something so that people can find your name. No, I was struggling with if people can find your name, because she's absolutely amazing. But Pastor Strick will do it. And I typically don't do it unless he just tags me in, because it's just not my gifting.
You can also join marriage school.
You can also join marriage
I'm
school.
telling you, you can also join marriage school.
Okay.
So we talked about what emotional divorce is. Let's talk now about why couples drift. We talked about the how. Let's talk about why. Okay. Most marriages don't fail because of one major explosion. We've said that multiple times. They fail because of a slow erosion. They don't fail from the presence of big problems. They fail from the absence of consistent connection. Marriage has to be connected. If there is no connection, you end up becoming like roommates, and that is not why people get married. So we want to share just 3. There could be more, but we want to share 3 reasons why couples disconnect.
Now, I need y'all to lean into this one right here. This is so good. Emotional neglect. And before you say, I don't do that, I want you to listen to this. Emotional neglect doesn't mean you don't care. It means you stop showing that you care.
That's a huge difference.
Oh,
please read that and say that one more time for them.
Listen, emotional neglect doesn't mean that you don't care.
It doesn't mean I don't care.
It means that you stop showing that you
showing
care.
It.
Right?
Yes.
It's not intentional. It's passive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not cruel. It's careless. But the carelessness feels like cruelty.
Yes.
Right? So needs aren't ignored on purpose. They're just not prioritized.
Needs aren't ignored on purpose, but they're not prioritized, which feels like you ignored me on purpose.
It feels like you ignored me on purpose, right?
Yep.
Because when I remember that one of our big things was because I didn't realize how much it took for you when you were a principal to use all of those words.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see you giving so many words to other people. And then I would ask you something and you would like just respond like, well, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter to me. And I would be like, I know you have more words than that. And then we had to learn that you needed a little debrief time.
Yep.
And if I gave you debrief time, you would give me words, but it took something from both of us in order to be able to do that, right?
And I've never been an introvert, I don't think, but I think sometimes in order to do certain jobs, it required me to be more of an extrovert than I was. So when I came home, I didn't want to have to be quote unquote on like that. Well, you saw that as, well, you can spend all your time talking to them folks, but you can't spend your time
Don't try to talk like
me.
me, because anybody who know me know that I said it just like that. I know you ain't spend all your time talking to them folks.
But you ain't got time
Any
to talk
other
to
wives
me.
ever said, I know you ain't spend all your time talking to them folks.
And here's what happens. If you don't have the right kind of let's just be honest, if you don't have the right kind of emotional intelligence, that can feel like an attack, right? And so now I feel attacked. And so if I don't have the right kind of emotional intelligence, I attack back. Well, if you attack back, depending on your personality, you either attack back or you shut down. Either one of those is not good. And so that's why that emotional neglect part, I think what you were talking about, was so important. It's not that you don't care. It's that you stop showing that you care. It's not this idea I'm trying to be cruel, but I'm being careless. And that shows up as though I'm being cruel. And it's not that I'm being intentionally invasive with you. It's a passive thing, maybe for a myriad of reasons, but it still comes off as you don't care about me.
And I think that there are some people right now that if they listen to this, they can hear what their partner was trying to say to them in a different way. And they can say to them, hey, I apologize. I need to do better in how I've handled you, right? And I think that
Or
that
I didn't even realize I was showing up that way. Can you please forgive
can
me?
you please forgive me and give me an opportunity to learn to show up in the way that matters to you, right?
Yeah.
Because here's what happened is that when our needs, when our when our needs aren't ignored on purpose, they are just not prioritized, because needs that go unspoken become needs that are unmet. And unmet emotional needs always find somewhere else to land.
Wow.
Right?
Unmet
emotional needs always find somewhere else to land. Where can they land? In frustration, in withdrawal, or in someone else's listening ear.
Wait.
Now,
see, it's a silent breakup, but it'll take you down this road because that work boo always seem to have time to listen to what you're going through.
And they always know your dress cute.
No, they know you when you change your hair.
And they know when you change
and
your
they know
hair.
when you got new cologne or perfume on.
Uh-huh.
And they know when it's your birthday.
And they don't think you smell vile.
And they say happy anniversary to you and your husband. What did he get you?
No, you missed that, right? When I said that,
I wasn't paying no attention about that perfume.
They don't think your perfume smells vile. What? No. So listen, in frustration, in withdrawal, and in someone else's listening
that is
ear,
where unmet emotional needs land.
Yes.
My God, and someone else's listening.
All right.
ear.
So number two.
So number one is emotional neglect. Number two, here's the thing, right? That can end up showing you how couples disconnect. Busyness. Life gets full.
Life gets full fast.
Life comes at you hard. I'm just gonna it may not knock you over none of that. I ain't speaking that, but life comes at you fast and life comes at you hard. Jobs, kids, for us, ministry, bills, routines, and before you know it, your relationship ends up getting whatever is left over, not what's best.
My God. So you stop dating each other.
You
stop listening to each other. You stop slowing down long enough to even see each other.
Hear me. Busyness is the enemy of intimacy.
Okay, everybody stop and type that.
Busyness is the enemy of intimacy.
Busyness is the enemy of intimacy.
Listen, I saw something the other day and I saved this. I didn't even tell you because I want to save it for Relationships 101. I read something that said married couples who shower together 2 or 3 times a week build more intimacy than any other couples. It didn't even say anything about having sex. It was saying because when you're showering together, you don't have your cell phone with you. You're in a state of nakedness, which is a sign of vulnerability and openness. And that if life is really, really busy and everything is going crazy and you still got, because you can't just say, well, kids, you ain't going to do sports anymore. You can't just say bills, you're not going to get paid. You can't just say job, you're not going to get any of the thing that needs to be done. But they said married couples who struggle with busyness, one of the things they could do is they could implement the opportunity to shower together 2 or 3 times a week. And I thought I never really thought about it like that. I mean, because when you're busy, first of all, you take a bath in lava, and I can't be in lava. But what we have to learn to do, you got to turn the heat down, and I got to take more heat, and you got to take a little less heat. But I'll
report back.
No, but I thought that was a good idea because there were times in our life that we were so busy that probably the only time we really would have had to slow down was to take a shower together. I mean, because and people think about taking a shower together. Oh, they're gonna have it. It's not even necessarily about that, although it can lead to that.
You're such a 7th grader. Oh, they got to have sex. Oh my God, you're such a 7th grader. What adults is talking about? Oh, they about to have sex.
I'm saying.
Oh my God.
I'm saying it can lead to that, right? It can lead to that.
So much.
But I read that and I thought, man, that's a really good tool that somebody should share. And so I thought I'm gonna share that on.
I know the real reason you didn't share it.
Why?
Because you know I done made you start taking a shower before that. But listen, so real talk, like, because I have this other thing that, like, if you kiss for 6 seconds a day,
yes,
that you extend your spouse, your husband, women, if you make your husband kiss you for 6
You don't
seconds
have to
a day.
make them. Ask them.
No,
Just
yes.
ask them. Because make sounds like, because see, if you, I told
Oh,
you,
you're right.
language shows where your heart is. Men don't
I had
need,
to make you.
men don't.
But did I have to make
No,
you?
you just had to tell me and make
Over and over again?
Yes, because they had to become top of mind.
Okay,
This
I'm
morning
sorry.
when I got ready to go, who kissed who first?
Oh, it was you.
Because it becomes top of mind. So yeah, you didn't have to make me, you had to teach me. That language is different. So wives, don't make
I apologize.
don't this okay. I accept your apology. Don't make
I was
your
apologizing to them. I was apologizing to them.
don't make your husband kiss you for 6 seconds. You guys get to kiss for 6 seconds. And it don't even have to be a French kiss. You ain't gotta get
No, it's actually
over
not supposed to be.
right.
It's actually not supposed to
Right.
be. It's supposed to be a lip-to-lip
kiss
for 6 seconds.
Yes.
And it says that it expands your husband's life.
Yes.
I think it said about like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but kiss me and make me live.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Right.
But again, busyness is
Don't
the
make.
enemy of intimacy, right? When everything else becomes urgent, your marriage becomes optional.
Your cousin Tiffany threw you under the bus. She said, you done said that I smell vile and I take a bath in lava.
Now, do you take a bath in hot? The hottest our water can get, is it hot enough for you?
Oh yeah, now because of the new thing.
But before we got the 2 hot water heaters,
no,
right? This woman can stand some hot water.
All women can stand hot water.
I believe that
because we tough like that.
But listen,
all right. So number 3,
when everything else becomes urgent, don't forget this: your marriage becomes optional.
It cannot.
You don't want your marriage to become optional, so you gotta make sure you don't let business get you.
Right. So number three, unresolved conflict.
Yep.
Conflict doesn't destroy a marriage.
Yep.
But avoided conflict does.
Mm-hmm.
Issues don't disappear. Oh, wow.
Come on.
They relocate to the heart.
That's where they go.
They relocate to the heart.
Somebody will type that in the comment. Issues don't disappear. They relocate to the heart.
So unspoken frustration becomes resentment. Resentment becomes distance, and distance becomes detachment.
Yep.
And you won't get peace by avoiding conversations. You just become roommates.
Yep.
And when you stop talking, resentment starts planning your exit. My God.
Yep.
But there's hope. Anything that was lost through disconnection can be restored through reconnection. If distance was created daily, then closeness can be restored daily.
Somebody will just give God some praise for that. For the revelation that we can restore whatever has been broken.
We can restore.
We can restore.
We can restore. Praise God. He's the God of restoration.
He's the God of the turnaround.
He is the God of the turnaround.
Which then brings us to our final point, right, tonight. And this is something that we call the reconnect framework. Now, if you have a piece of paper, if you have a pen with you, here's what I encourage you to do. Write the word reconnect on a piece of paper, lengthwise down the paper.
Come on, right? 5th grade teacher.
Come on, 5th grade teacher. Take that paper, turn it hot dog style, fold it in half. Okay. Write the word reconnect. Okay. RECONNECT. Reconnect. Because here's our reconnect framework. How are you going to reconnect? Because connection doesn't just happen randomly. Connection or reconnection happens intentionally.
I love that you did this. Go ahead and give them this reconnect. I love
here's our reconnect framework. Here's why you ought to join marriage school. I'm gonna give you a lot of different tools, stuff that I've had to use, mnemonics to help me. You know, my wife says I'm neurodivergent, and she's probably right. I'm somewhere on the spectrum. We all are. You just may not be where I am on it.
Some of us, everybody not on.
And so for me, these kind of things help me because it helps to frame what I'm thinking about. I want to reconnect. What does reconnect mean? Okay. The R means this. It is to recognize the drift. Okay. I want to recognize the drift. Okay. In other words, don't pretend that everything is fine. Recognize it. If something's wrong, it's okay to call out what is wrong, because if you don't call it out, it cannot be addressed.
That's good.
Okay. Here is the E. Express appreciation daily. Okay. You recognize the drift and then you express appreciation daily. Appreciation lubricates communication. The more I appreciate you, the easier it is for us to talk. The more you give me love in the language I receive it, the more I am open to have that communication. It works both ways. Okay. Now the first C, okay, this C. It is to create intentional time. Okay. I want to recognize the drift. I want to express daily appreciation, and I want to create intentional time. I do not want to give my partner leftover time. I want to give them intentional scheduled time. Intentional scheduled time. I joke typically when we get off of the broadcast on Sundays, if the weather is nice, I typically tease Pastor Chris if it's not a huddle, and I say, "Are you and Valley going down to Hot Springs?" Because that's the place that they like to go. And I tease her because I think it's so awesome that they go, you know what, we serve, we do all this, but we're going to take an opportunity and we're going to do something we both enjoy. We're going to go do this thing that we like to do. It's getting away from their home, but it's not so far that it takes hours and days or whatever the case may be. They are creating intentional time. When you ask me, and I didn't always do this, you'd be like, hey, do you want to run to the store with me? I'd be like, no.
That's how you used to say it too.
Exactly.
Say it again. No.
Okay,
Babe,
ask me.
Babe, you want to run to the store with me?
No, I won't go no store. but I didn't. Again, I'll be transparent. I have worked on my emotional intelligence.
You have.
When you ask me if I want to go to the store now, I still feel like that. But I understand now what you're saying is, hey, do you want to spend some time with me?
Yes.
And so I'm like, oh yes, I want to spend some time.
And you
with
do.
you.
You say yes.
In
like
my
that.
mind, this is how it works. Ask me.
Babe, you want to go to the store with me?
In my mind, man, I don't want to go to no store, but do you want to spend time with your wife? I go, yeah. And that's how it works.
You know what, though? I think this is really important to say here that I think that people don't understand in marriage, but you taught me this, which is that you have said to me, and I now use it for you. You have said to me, I don't have to understand what you need to give it to you.
I don't.
And
I just have to know what you need.
That you and because for me, I used to want you to understand it. But then there would be things you wanted I didn't understand. And you were like, we don't have to understand. We just have to love each other enough to give each other what they want.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we're going to recognize the drift. We're going to express appreciation daily. We're going to create intentional time. And then here's the O. Own your part. No excuses, no defensiveness, no checking out. Okay? Own your part. It doesn't feel good to have someone tell you where you've come up short.
It does not.
It doesn't feel good.
It does not.
Can we all, let's just be honest.
Let's all admit it. It doesn't feel good. No, we don't like that.
But if we're going to build good marriages, we have to be mature enough to hear that what they're saying is about our behavior, not who we are.
That's really good.
It's about our behavior, not who we are. So own your part. N, here's the first N. Notice their emotional temperature. Check in emotionally. Ask the question, how are you doing?
Are you okay?
There's been so many times that we've counseled people and they get to talking and the other person go, well, I didn't even know they felt that way. But their friends knew they felt that way. Their mamas and daddies knew. The people at church knew. The neighbors beside them knew. Everybody knew they felt that way except for you.
Facebook knew.
Facebook knew. Everybody knew except for you because you didn't check in. Because you were so busy doing life and doing your thing. So notice their emotional temperature. Here's the other N in this reconnect framework. No phones during connection time. Distraction kills intimacy. There is nothing worse than for your spouse to be looking at you and they starting to get in the mood and you pick up your phone. Listen, why we being silly on here?
And there is nothing worse.
Ain't nothing worse.
You trying to share your love with your spouse and they answer their phone and they boy call. Nothing worse right there. Look. Okay.
So once again, what's the second N?
No phones during connection time. Everybody type that. No phones during connection time. And it's really interesting because it's like phone competitions. Like, and here's what I mean. Like sometimes the people who just play games on their phone, they think they're better than the people who on social media, right?
Yep.
But it is your phone in your hand.
Right.
Is your phone taking away?
Because we don't care that you connected them little silly coins.
or that you talking to some stranger on Facebook. What we care is that during connection time, you put the phone down.
You
You
put
put the
down.
phone down.
All right. So
right.
so let's see. Where are we now? We are at. Hold on.
You good?
I'm good. We on connection. I done got to laugh and then move my notes. Here we go. Okay. E. Here's our second E in this. Engage in shared experiences. Fun creates bonding. One of the things that I enjoy the most is when we are the silliest.
Absolutely.
People don't always know this. I know you finna say they be sleeping. I know they be sleeping on you. But you are really funny.
I'm the funniest person y'all know in this room. Just joking. It just fit from the last video.
Right.
You're definitely funnier, but I'm funny.
You are funny, and you have a knack of saying things, at least to me, that are very, very hilarious. And the timing is good. And so I don't know what your thing is. You have to find it. But man, find some time to laugh with your. The Bible says that laughter is like medicine for the soul, right? For your mind, your will, your emotions, your imagination, and your intellect. Find some time to laugh. If you want to reconnect, don't always be so serious. You know, there was this book that was written a while back, and it said, "Don't sweat the small stuff." But the underline, it was in very small letters that most people miss, is it says, and it's all small stuff.
Yes.
Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. So engage in shared experiences. Fun creates bonding. And then let's do these last two. Here's another C. Communicate your needs clearly. Right? And the way you do that is by using I statements. We talk about all this time. I feel, or I need, or I want,
or I would like.
Yes.
Not you don't do.
Right.
Not you don't never listen.
And please don't use the words never and always, because nothing is never and always but Jesus.
Right.
All right. So use the I statement. Say what you are feeling. Say what you want. Say what you need, and then give your part of the opportunity to give that. Because if you just start with the you don't ever, people feel like, well, if people in their mind will go, well, I did that 4 times last month. And so if you don't appreciate that, I ain't gonna do it no more times.
So people will be you.
People will be me. And so I will be people. And so then what happens is that becomes a thing where it becomes that silent disconnect from the thing again, right? And then lastly, okay, touch. And when I say touch, I am talking non-sexual touch. Holding hands, hugging, grounding, touching. Okay, I didn't say grinding.
Baby, that's what I thought they said grinding. I thought it was non-sexual touch.
Grounding.
Like what?
Sometimes when you're just laying on each other, just touching each other, you might want to get into the grinding if you do all of these things
if you
right.
hold the hands and hugging and grounding touch, it may be more grinding touch.
Take those showers we talked about. It may lead to all of that, right? Understand, connection is restored through curiosity, not criticism.
Oh, that's good.
Be curious about your partner, not critical of your partner. You're never going to reconnect by beating each other up.
That's so good. You're so smart.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
All right, so here's our couples exercise. We have a couple exercise, so we need all of our couples to put a 1 in the comment.
Come on, put a 1 in there.
With this, our couples exercise, and you obviously are not going to have time to do this in front of us, but you need to do this, right?
It's for you for the next week, 2 weeks,
do
whatever.
it before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it before you go to bed. One of the things that we know about change is that there is a psychology principle that if you make a decision to do something different, and you don't act within 24 hours, you're not going to act.
Some people call it the principle of implementation.
Is that what it's called?
That's what we call in education. It's the principle of implementation. When you go to a professional development, you go back to your classroom, we want you to implement it immediately. Because if you allow time to come in there, you either will not implement it with fidelity or you will not implement it at all.
Yes. So what's going to be, it's the 10-minute mirror exercise.
Okay.
So couples are going to turn and face each other. One speaks and one listens, no interrupting.
That is so difficult for so many people.
It is.
It really is. But if you're going to do this challenge right, this is part of the instruction you really need to adhere to.
All right. Here are the 3 things you're going to start with.
And I think we got these prompts. There we go. Yep.
One thing I miss about us is. One thing I miss about us is. One thing you do that makes me feel connected is. And one thing I commit to do differently this week is. So one thing I miss about us is. If you say you don't miss anything, you say one thing I like about us is, right? One thing you do that makes me feel connected is, and one thing I commit to doing differently this week is.
Yep.
After both speak, don't try to fix it. Don't defend it. Just receive.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And the person who's going, you don't get to interrupt them. They get to
Yes.
finish what they're saying, and you just listening. Because like if someone says, the thing I miss about us is how we used to take walks. You don't get to say, well, we're busy now. We can't take no walks. I mean, what you want me to do? It's 40 degrees. You can't, and I you can't do that. You can't do that if you want the mirror exercise to work. The whole purpose of looking at the other person is just to hear them, because they need to feel seen, they need to feel chosen and heard.
I've been working on this for a while, but my one thing I commit to doing differently this week that I think you would say I've been working on is to ask instead of deciding.
Yep.
It's to instead of just saying what happened, is to ask, did you mean to do this right here? Or did you intend to?
Yeah, because I can honestly say I did not like when you would say things like, why did you do so and so? Because first of all, I didn't. And second of all,
y'all better grab this screenshot.
But when you say, it doesn't matter what it is. If you say, hey, did you do so and so? It don't matter how outlandish it could be. The fact that you asked me,
hey, did you kill our neighbors?
I'd be like, oh no, that wasn't me. Are they dead over there? You know, but it's like if you ask me, it's different. But that came through conversation and saying, hey, I feel attacked when you say, you know, that way, and you committed to doing that. One of the things that I'm committed to doing more of is not matching energy. And what I mean is that sometimes something will happen, and it happened the other day. I did it. You said something, you did something, and I won't even say it triggered me. It did, but I don't know
go ahead and say it.
I don't know the other word to use. It wasn't that I got mad at you. I didn't like the way it was done. I was never upset with you. I was upset with the behavior.
Oh, how about this? Because I just thought about this, because we've never seen this happen in this time like this. Okay. So maybe you match energy because you have decided I intended to engage with you.
No, that is why.
Instead of asking.
Yes.
So the thing of asking that you want me to do, maybe you should practice asking.
Yes. I just have to practice it after I've been attacked. but I'm working. It's what I'm committed to. I am committed to, because I'm only responsible for me. So my commitment is that no matter what is said, I am going to say, hey, did you mean to say that way? Before I just start matching energy.
You know
that's my responsibility.
You know what we're going to do? I just want to know if anybody else out here in marriage land, relationship land can understand this. That sometimes you said something sharp, but you didn't intend to say something sharp.
It happens.
And if the person had just asked you, if you were trying to say something sharp, you would have immediately corrected, because your goal wasn't to say something sharp, right?
You're exactly right.
But literally, when the person comes back, and then
on 100,
on 100,
and
you're like, I'm like, why are you talking like that? And you're like, because you were talking like that. Well, maybe you should ask me, because I didn't really. And
that's one of the things that I am committed to do differently this week and beyond.
And I think that probably this is where you would say that we are different in this way, is that if you talk like that to me and I think you're talking crazy, I almost always say, did you mean to talk to me like that?
You say it more than I do. I don't know about almost always, but you do say it a lot.
I
don't know about no. You gotta try to pat yourself on the back almost always.
You sound like a hater to me.
I don't know about no almost always.
But the point is, I do try, because I learned this from Ralph Marlowe. Ralph Marlowe taught us this on vacation.
He did.
And he said that when April says or does something to him, he tries to start with what he knows to be true about her,
yep.
which is that she loves him and she wants to be happy.
Yep.
And ever since Marlowe said that on the trip, I promise I have focused on that to say, what do I know about Edwin Strickland? I know that he want to be happy here in this house, me, him, and these two dogs.
Yep.
So whatever just happened, it cannot be what I think it is. I try to ask. Yes.
Yeah. So if you haven't, take a screenshot of that and then practice the 10-minute mirror exercise this week. All right. Listen, let me say this as we get ready to close. Love is not maintained by emotion. It is maintained by intention. If you want to stay in love, people say about, oh, I fell out of love.
Not just stay married, but stay in love.
Stay in love, not just stay married, because people can stay married and not be in love. Love is not maintained by emotion. It is maintained by intention. Feelings may start a relationship, but intentionality is what sustains the relationship. Emotions can inspire a connection, but only decisions can protect it. Love doesn't thrive because of how we feel. Love thrives because of what we choose to do over and over again. People don't fall out of love. They drift out of practice.
That's so good.
They drift out of practice.
That is so good. All right. So we want you to do the 10 minutes couple exercise, and then we want you to do a 5-minute daily connect, right? 5 minutes. So really 3 minutes where you talk about what you appreciate about each other. When's the last time you just told your spouse the things you appreciate about them? Babe, when's the last time I told you what I appreciate about you?
I think today at lunch. Today at lunch.
Today, because it's one of the things the Lord trained me on. He trained me that if I would focus on what I appreciate about you, then your flaws wouldn't bother me so bad.
What in the world?
Everybody has flaws.
I know, but my goodness.
No, everybody has. No, really.
What in the world?
Guys, nobody's perfect. So I literally.
This girl said, so all your flaws. Oh my God.
No, I'm trying to.
No, I get what you mean.
I'm trying to say this, that the Lord really taught me this. And I just told you the other day, I've been doing it ever since he taught me this. The Lord told me when we were in a bad season, he told me that every day to start the day thinking about
how amazing I am.
With how amazing you are. That's actually what he said to me.
I know. I'm always remind you.
Right.
That's how he said it.
And when he said it, all I could say was he take good care of his family. But as the list kept going,
amen,
I still probably, before I ever opened my eyes, named 15 things I love about you. Yeah. And the reality of it is that what it does is that during the day, if something happens where I could see something negative about you, like here's a great example where it shows up for us a lot.
Okay.
You play a lot.
I do.
You play a lot.
I play a lot. I joke a lot. I do.
But I have meditated on how good you playing a lot is for me, and how it's probably extending my life because of the times you make me laugh. So
because you could be a pretty serious person.
I can be.
Although you are funny,
I'm funny, but I can be a pretty serious person. Yeah. So what I've learned to do is that if you start to play and I want to move on, is that thing comes up in my mind that this is something God put in you because I needed it. And it helps me not to be so irritated that you're playing. I am telling you that if everybody would meditate, if you would say, it's not in our notes, but you should write this down. You should say, God, tell me why you partnered me with this person. Because often the reason that God puts you with the person is for the weakness that you have.
Yeah.
And so I meditate on those things. And then what happens is, instead of it being like where I could be really naggy about how much you play, instead I celebrate how funny you are, because I have learned to see that it's something that adds value to my life.
I love it. So it's just spend 3 minutes talking about the appreciation.
Yes.
And then spend 2 minutes talking about the feelings from today. How are you feeling? How are you going? How did things work out for you? Just something I can pray with you about. It's something, sometimes we don't even know what our spouses are going through.
Right.
Especially if they were both working demanding jobs. And so that's just an easy daily way to connect. And Heather Fallon, we appreciate you. Thank you for sending the stars. I saw those coming across. So
thank you for the stars. We appreciate that. Okay, so we're getting ready to go.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done.
I hope this. I was excited about this teaching.
You did a good job,
because, man, I've been in some of these spaces. I think we all have, because we've done it. It was funny. I was talking about this, and if you see the graphics behind us, those graphics were designed by Clarissa, and I call her Skills because she can do everything. But when we were talking, when she did that, we were talking about what the silent breakup was about, because Pastor Sean was like, I ain't never had no silent breakup. When I explained it, Clarissa made a point. She was like, oh yeah, I've done that with a job. We've all had a silent breakup with some jobs, with some peoples. We didn't have no big fallout. We just kind of gradually moved on from them, right? And so you don't want to do that with your spouse.
So we would really appreciate if you got something from this. We still see that there are like 70 something people, but only 50 something people liked it. It would help if you would like it. Tap the screen. Make sure you put the like up.
Yeah, please.
But one of the things that we would appreciate if you would do, no, this is not a series. That was the message in it. We'll be back next month. We'll talk about something different. But what we would appreciate if you would do, if you would grab the graphic or grab a screenshot of us and take one thing you got away.
Let me get, you're going to be screenshot me. Let me get up here. Okay, screenshot right now.
Oh my God, okay. I'm over it. Okay, is that if you would take the picture, the silent breakup, a picture of us or something, and say one thing that you're gonna work on in your relationship that you got from tonight.
And you can grab that graphic from my page, from the church's page, anywhere you're watching right now. That graphic is there. Oh
yes, and Skill says tag FOC. So if you're on Instagram, tag FOC, and if you're on Facebook, tag FOC. So help us out. Pastor Strickland and I, we have decided in the next phase of our ministry, we want to impact more people than we have ever impacted before. And we need your help to do that. So we need you every time you get something, every time your life is improved. Don't just tag us, tag FOC, because we want the world to know that this is a skills-based ministry, teaching people how to walk in love, live by faith, and experience God's prosperity in every area of life, including your relationships. So thank you for joining us. We would love to see you at Refresh Bible Study tomorrow night and prayer. You can find that on our FOC page and on the page that you're watching on. Have an amazing day. Share. And you want to say one more thing,
just a reminder here.
Marriage school.
I want to encourage you to join. Listen, it's $8 a month.
$8 a month.
Or you can pay $80 for the whole year and you get 2 months free. Instead of paying $96, you pay $80. Listen, also, the great thing, and people are signing up left and right now, I appreciate that. Get some of your friends to sign up. And before they sign up, why don't you become an affiliate? If you become an affiliate and you send them your link and they sign up, if they sign up for the whole year, they pay $80 in advance, I'm going to give you $20. Why? Because I really just want people to sign up for marriage school, because I want to see more successful marriages. The more successful marriages we have, the more examples we have for a younger generation to look for.
You know what? Let me shout you out publicly. Let me celebrate you for this. Okay. I want to celebrate you for remembering marriage school and saying that, because in the past, if I had wrapped up like that, you'd have just been like, okay, next time. I really am so proud of you. If you got something from today and you wanted to sow a seed, how about you sow it into marriage school? That's what we would appreciate. All right.
Join. You take a screenshot of that and you can join marriage school.
Join marriage school.
And listen, whatever email, I keep telling people this, whatever email you use to sign up for marriage school, please, after you sign up, go to that email, because you're going to immediately get instructions about what you need to do next to be a part of our private Facebook community and how to introduce yourself to the community. I want to see hundreds of married couples introducing themselves in the community. So if you haven't done that, you say, well, I signed up for marriage school, but I didn't do that. Go read the email. If you go and make sure that you read the email so it tells you exactly what you need to do so you can join the community. Okay.
All right. We love you guys so much. Don't forget to share. We appreciate that.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.